Roselia finally got revealed for Bang Dream, and we saw the looks of the new Rummy Labyrinth rares for Harry and Nightrose. And we even got some surprising news for Team Tri-Free.
Stand up! Vanguard!
Hey Cardfighters, welcome back to another Cardfight update, and today we've got a lot to talk about, as not only did we've got the latest band for Bang Dream revealed, so that means a lot of new cards, but we also saw some new reveals for Team Tri-Free. So we've got some new cards for Neo Nectar, Royal Paladin and Gear Chronicle, which are pretty insane and at the same time quite unexpected, because they are tagged along with a certain information that's quite rare for Vanguard. But we're gonna get to that later in this video. First, we're gonna take a look at the new Bang Dream cards for the last band of this set, and this means that are the last cards that we're going to get revealed to us, is the band Roselia, the long-awaited 5th official band of this set, not counting the secret pack for Rise of Sulin. And that means there's quite a lot of hype and expectation for this band, and seeing as its playstyle is very similar to a certain edgy Paladin clan, I think a lot of players aren't disappointed in what the clan does or what this band does. So without further ado, let's jump right into these cards to have an understanding what this last band for Bang Dream is gonna do. And we're gonna start off with the right chain, and of course with their new starter, which is Start Bell Yukina Minato. And Yukina Minato is basically a generic starter, so there's nothing really to talk about here. Now her grade 1 counterpart is Dying World Yukina Minato, and her ability is Auto Vanguard the Regular Circle. When placed, look at 5 cards from the top of your deck, reveal up to 1 grade 2 or greater Roselia from among them, and put it into your hand. Shuffle your deck, and if you put a card, discard a card from your hand. So this is basically the exact same skill that we've seen on all the grade 3 searchers or the old Stridefellas, only in this case it doesn't search only grade 3s, it searches for everything that is a grade 2 or greater, but it needs to be of the Roselia band. This is actually a pretty good skill because it ups the consistency to a high degree, as it can help you with the right chain, because if you write this and you don't have a grade 2, there's a high likely chance that you will get a grade 2, and otherwise you can fetch your rear guards or you can get the grade 3 that you need to finish up your rights. So that's actually pretty damn solid. Now the grade 2 version is Quiet Enthusiasm Yukina Minato, and her abilities are Continuous Vanguard Circle. During your turn, if a Roselia music was played this turn, this unit gets power plus 5k, so it can become a 15k Vanguard attacker if you play the music, which you probably are going to do, as that's the whole thing with Bang Dream, that you want to play music every single turn. Then our other Vanguard skill is Auto Vanguard Circle. When placed, Soul Charge 2, and if 1 or more Roselia were soul charged, draw a card. So you're gonna see that we have quite a lot of soul charging effect for this band, and that's have to do with our most powerful skill that uses soul quite a lot. Now before we go into the grade 3, let's take a look at the supporting cast of this band. And first we're gonna take a look at the grade 1s, and we start off with Refreshing Research Rinko Shirokane, and her abilities are Continuous Rigor Circle. If a unit with Ako Undagawa in its card name is on your Vanguard Circle or Rearguard Circle, this unit gets power plus 5k. Aka Undagawa is the other grade 1, so if you have the other grade 1 onto the field, this becomes a 13k attacker or booster, which is solid, and this can help you with early game aggression, and that's also pretty good because of her following skill, which is Auto Rearguard Circle. When it attacks or the attack it boosted hits, cost counter plus 1 and draw a card. So on hit, draw power, which is pretty solid, and the fact that it becomes a 13k booster attacker can significantly help you with the chance of actually hitting this, especially in the early game, because those extra numbers in the early game will mean something, and that actually helps with her on-hit skill. So it's a pretty solid skill that synergizes with the other grade 1, because if we take a look at the other grade 1, you can see how these cards work together. As we have Little Demonic Lord Ako Undagawa, and her abilities are Auto Rigor Circle. When placed, look at the 5 cards from the top of your deck, reveal up to 1 card with Rinko Shirokane in its card name from among them, put it into your hand, and shuffle your deck. So this can become a potential +1 for free that searches the other grade 1, which then can help you with unhit pressure for draw power, or just have a good generic attacker or booster. Then her second skill is very similar to Rinko Shirakane's skill, as it's Auto Rigor Circle. When it attacks or the target boosted hits, you may soul charge 1. So this can give you free soul on hit pressure, and the other gives you potential good draw on hit pressure. So both of them pretty good. Can also make a solid 21k column on turn 1 if you can set this up, which is actually pretty decent. Now for the grade 2 lineups, we have Player of Silence Sayo Hikawa, and her abilities are Continuous on Rigid Circle. If a Roselia music was played this turn, this unit gets power plus 5k. So very similar to the grade 2 of the right chain. Pretty solid, makes a 15k attacker. With the 13k booster, that's a 28k column that you can generate on turn 2, which is actually pretty good. Then her second ability is Auto on Rigid Circle. At the end of the battle it attacked a Vanguard. If your Vanguard is a Roselia, put this unit into your soul and draw a card. So this skill is basically very similar to Naboo, as it can put itself into the soul and draw a card. It doesn't bind something on this as a cost, but it doesn't really matter for this band. So that's actually pretty good for several reasons. As for one, it gives soul, and as I explained earlier, we're gonna need soul for powerful skills, but it draws a card, so it helps the consistency. But on top of that, it removes itself from the field, so if we're up against control clans or just things that can screw with your board, this can somewhat counterplay that to a certain degree, so it is a very flexible card. Now for the second grade 2, we have Outflowing Passion Lisa Imai, and her abilities are Auto, when retired from the Guardian Circle, you may put this unit into your soul. So this is very similar to what we've seen with the Hari and the Magia Doll cards, and that in itself is a pretty decent skill, as it allows you to use the cards defensively, but at the same time don't lose on the potential soul charging power that you need to set up for your skill, so that's actually pretty good. But her second skill allows you to always get benefit from it, either way you call to the field or call to the Guardian Circle, as her second skill is Auto Rigid Circle. When placed, soul charge 1, and one of your other Roselias gets power plus 5k until the end of turn. This can give any column plus 5k, so that can also mean to your Vanguard, which is actually pretty decent, as you're gonna see with the other skills how we can interact with that. So overall, it's a pretty good card. It sets up soul, and it can potentially give some column an additional 5k power. Now, with the whole band discussed in the right chain, let's take a look at the main grade 3 to have an understanding of what we're working with. And the main grade 3 is Blue Rose Diva Yukina Minato, and her abilities are Auto on Vanguard Circle. When it attacks, if a Roselia music was played this turn, this unit gets power plus 5k until the end of the battle for each grade of your opponent's Vanguard. So if you went first, you use her ability, so you activate the music card, she gets plus 10k power because your opponent's Vanguard is grade 2. If they are grade 3, she gets a plus 15k power for free. So she's basically a very strong high beater. And you can combine it with Force 2, as she will be strong no matter what, and you also have the grade 2 that can give her an additional 5k power, and we also have the 13k booster potentially, so she can rank up a lot of power. So you might not need the extra power gain from the Force 1 marker, so you can easily opt to go for Force 2. Then her second skill is basically what we expect of the main grade 3s, as it's Act on Vanguard Circle. If an order was not played this turn, cast Counterblast 1, search your deck, or drop zone for up to 1 Roselia music and play it. And if you search your deck, shuffle your deck. So basically the main consistency card that allows you to use her first continuous or auto Vanguard skill to get the additional power. Pretty generic. Now for the actual combos and plays, we need to take a look at the music order cards themselves, as they really bring out the power of the Roselia band. Now first off, we've got the grade 1 music card, and that is Black Shout. And it's a very simple one. It's Auto Rigid Circle. When placed, draw a card, and 2 of your units get power plus 5k until the end of turn. So this just gives some extra power to the field. It can give your Vanguard an additional 5k power, or it can give your rearguard columns an additional 5k power, and this can really rank up. On its own, it's basically a cycle card, because you place it and you draw a card, so this card replaces itself in your hand. But on top of that, you give extra 5k power to 2 units, so 2 columns can become a lot stronger, or 1 column can get an insane 10k power boost buff out of nowhere. This can be done on grade 1, which can help your grade 1s with unhit pressure quite easily, so there's a lot of potential in this card. Then for the grade 2 order card, we have Brave Jewel, and its ability is Auto Rigid Circle. Once per turn, when your Roselia attack does not hit, cast Counterblast 1, choose one of your opponent's rearguards and retire it. If a unit was retired, you draw the same number of cards as that unit's grade. This card is pretty insane, as for 1 counterblast, you can potentially go +4 in card economy, as if your opponent has a grade 3 on the board, you can retire it, so they go -1, and you draw 3 cards, so that's a +3 on your hand size, so a +4 in total card economy. That's really good for 1 single counterblast, and your opponent guarded that attack, so they even lose more cards on that. So this is a really interesting card if you use it on the right moment, in the right circumstances. And the fact that you have unhit effects, that can force this card even more out, because now your opponent has to think, do I rather want to give them those unhit effects, or do I want to give them this non-unhit effect? So there's suddenly a lot more to think about and a lot more potential within this band. Now for the final kill card, we have the grade 3 order card, which is Fire Bird. And this is basically the main thing the deck wants to do, as its abilities on a Vanguard circle, once per turn, at the end of the battle your Vanguard with Yukina Minato in its card name attacked, cost Soul Blast 4, and discard a card from your hand. Stand your Vanguard and it's get drive -1 until the end of turn. So you now have a restanding Vanguard that doesn't minus you, as you ditch one, but you get 1 back for the extra drive check. So you basically recycle for an extra drive. The Soul Blast 4 might sound a lot, but as we've seen, we have a lot of options to Soul Charge. We have the grade 2 that puts itself in the Soul of the Guarding, but can also Soul Charge if we place onto the field. We have the grade 2 that can put itself into the Soul. We have the grade 1 with unhit Soul Charge potential. And we also have the Right Chain grade 2 that allows you to put in 2 cards into the Soul if you are able to ride her. So there's a lot of options to actually Soul Charge cards here and there with this deck. And what's even more great about this is the fact that the Vanguard gets a lot of power, as we already seen that when she attacks, she gains potentially +10 or +15 depending on your opponent's Vanguard grade. So that means those extra attacks with the Vanguard will swing in quite hard, and going with Force 2 can put up a lot of pressure. But besides that, this band can rank up a lot of power with the rearguards, as both grade 2s can become 15k attackers. One gives away 5k power, one is plus 5k power, and we have the grade 1 that can become a 13k booster. So you can make up a lot of strong power columns besides your Vanguard that can also really hit hard. So there's a lot of potential here if used right. And interesting enough, this deck looks very similar to Claret Sword Dragon, only with less hoops to jump through, as her restand ability is a lot easier to fulfill than Claret Sword 7 grade 1s in drop zone, or at the very least easier to do multiple times during the game. So yeah, if you're a Shadow Paladin player and you wanted an excuse to actually play a Bang Dream band, then Roselia is probably the one for you. They're already seen as the edgy band among them, but them then also copying Shadow Paladin's game mechanic is probably a match made in heaven. And that basically wraps up the news for the Bang Dream set. That's basically all the cards are now revealed. We also saw the SPs and the SSRs, or all the other special rarities. We already seen them. It's not really something new or something special. We now know everything about this set. Now that wasn't the only news that we've got, as we also got some extra information concerning Rummy Labyrinth set, Butterfly Under the Moonlight, because they finally revealed the artwork for the Rummy Labyrinth rares. And these are these artworks. And for anybody that's wondering what this artwork is for Night Rose and Harry, these are basically the old special reprint artwork that we got once we got the previous Rummy Labyrinth set with the new edition of Harry and Night Rose, and they also brought in a special reprint artwork for the old Harry and Night Rose. That are these reprints. Now, besides those high rarity cards, we also got some information concerning Team Tri-Free, or the next stage extra booster set, as apparently in Japan they're gonna get a second printing series. And that doesn't really happen all too often, that a set gets a second printing, and apparently Team Tri-Free is actually gonna get that. But not only Team Tri-Free, also the trial decks of Aldma, Arsha and Chronojet are getting a second printing run, which is actually a pretty good sign, as it means that this set has been selling quite decent or really good, and there's a high demand for those cards. And with this new printing series, they're also going to do a little bit of extra bonus to it, as these trial decks will contain a different promo pack, or maybe an additional promo pack, which will contain these promo cards. And for Gear Chronicle, that's a really good promo, as you can get Steam Scar Ear Cup, and that's a pretty good staple card for Gear Chronicle, and that's also a very expensive card. Same that goes for the Punchy Musketeer Sylvia, which is quite a staple card. And the one for Royal Paladin is a promo card. That's probably a little bit tough to get. It's basically a grade 2 version of Pongo, so it could be a good fit for Altmau. But if we're gonna get this second printing or these promo packs as well, that could be a good sign for Royal Paladin players, as we never got that promo card for Royal Paladin. So this could be a way for us finally get that promo card if we also are gonna get these promo packs in a second printing of the Team Tri-Free. But that's too early to assume because we just got the set in the English side. So this is just speculation. We're not sure if we're actually gonna get this second printing promo pack somewhere down the line at all. But on top of that, they also revealed that they're gonna include new cards as well for these clans in this promo pack run, or some reason to get these special promos, because they're gonna be a new promo for Gear Chronicle, Neo Nectar, and Royal Paladin. And these cards are pretty insane. And we need to talk about them because these can change the clans or their decks quite significantly. And we're going to start off with the one for Royal Paladin so you can immediately see what I mean, how impactful these cards can be. As for Royal Paladin, the new promo they're going to get is this grade 1 Flourishing Knight Edith. And its ability is Auto Rigard Circle. When placed, cost Soul Blast 1. Look at the 7 cards on the top of your deck. Call up to one card with Altmau in its card name from among them to the Rigard Circle in the same column as this unit and shuffle your deck. So this can basically fetch you an Altmau from the top 7, and this is very similar to what we've seen with Suleiman, also for the only for a little bit more cost, as Suleiman used Soul Blast to bounce it back to hand. This just used to call it, but it can be really decent because you can call this on turn 1 and get a potential trial deck Altmau, so the Blue Sky Knight Altmau, to the field, which is a 28k beater. Together with this 8k is a 36k beater you create on turn 1. That's actually pretty decent. But then it also has a second ability which blows this card out of the park. As its skill is Auto Rigard Circle, at the end of the battle it boosted a grade 3 rearguard cost. Put the rearguard that was boosted into the soul and return this unit to your hand. So this card not only searches out your Altmau, that can generate a gigantic beater early game, but it can put it into the soul, which then immediately sets up for Aerial Divine at Altmau to have a complete full power Aerial Divine at Altmau on your first grade 3 turn, which is huge. And not only that, this can be used in other decks that for Royal Paladin need multiple grade 3s in the soul. We got this rare grade 3 that Soul Blasts 2 grade 3s to multi-attack, and we got some other examples. This could be used in those strategies for low budget plays, but for the Altmau deck, this is insane. It searches it out and it puts it into the soul, so it sets everything up. This is perfect. And the other promos are basically in the same line as this. Only the next one for Gear Chronicle is arguably, in my opinion, the best among them, and that's not even being biased, as you're gonna see right now. Because Steam Maiden Ripple is insane. As her ability is Auto, when this card is discarded from your hand during your turn, cost Soul Blast 1, and call this card to the Rigard Circle, and this unit gets power plus 5k until the end of turn. Cost, put a normal unit from your drop zone on the bottom of your deck and draw a card. So, how can we help Gear Chronicle to become better? Why not take 2 of their staple cards, fuse them together in one single card, and make it even better than the sum of its parts? Because this card is a quickie worker and a Chrono Tooth Tigar smashed together and made it cheaper and better. Because not only does it allow you to put back a grade 4 from your drop zone into the deck, it allows you to then use Soul Blast to draw 1, where Quickie Worker was a Soul Blast 2. But just like Chrono Tooth Tigar, it can recall to the board. But then it also gets extra power. And the reason why that's insane is because this card calls itself Stand. This is a major player right now, because this allows Gear Chronicle to multi-attack. And the fact that we can generate a lot of force markers out of nowhere allows you to multi-attack quite effectively. And you can do this in all kinds of ways with all the different cards that can discard on attack, or even with next stage that discards on rewrite. So you can set these things up, as it can even allow you to just call it behind the Vanguard to have a second booster. So you can boost next stage and then you can boost Chrono Jet if you want to. You can do all these plays, all these kinds of things. It allows you to remove Quickie Worker from the build. You can even say you can lower the amount of Chrono Tufty Guard to make room for other cards. This card, Steam Maiden Rebuild, is nuts. It's insane, this card. Now for the final promo, we've got the one for Neo Nectar, and this one is also really good, but this card might see more play in non-Asha decks than actual Asha decks, because here we have Maiden of Nepotis, and her abilities are act on Vanguard to Rigor Circle, once per turn, cost retire a plan token, draw a card, and until the end of turn, this unit gets boost and power plus 5k. So this card allows you to turn plan tokens in free draws and advantage, because plan tokens are 5k boosters and that's it. This card gains the 5k, gains the boost of the plan token, so it turns a 5k plan token booster into a 15k booster, but not only that, you get to draw. So you turn plan tokens into an actual value engine for your deck. So this can make Neo Nectar decks quite effective and high consistent in terms of what they used to be, because now you can turn your plan tokens in consistency boosters, which is insane if you think about it, because how easy and free and cheap they can generate these plan tokens. But her second ability is what makes her really good, because it allows her to be very deadly. As her second ability is on a Rigor Circle, when it boosts a grade 3 rearguard, you may have the boosted unit get critical +1 until the end of the battle. If you do, at the end of the battle, put this unit into your soul. So it allows you to generate soul, but it also allows you to generate a lot of pressure, as it can give any grade 3 an additional crit. This works in Asha, because you have the Vanguard Asha with the VR, Dream Spinning Ranunculus Asha, which gains a crit and then gives it to the Flower Fairy token. The only issue is that your last Asha, the trial deck, Flower Maiden Asha, Flower Maiden Ranunculus Asha, is a single crit. With this grade 2, as a booster behind it, not only becomes the column a lot more threatening, because it's a 15k booster on top of a 23k Vanguard, which is a 38k column, which is rivaling with what your Vanguard column and the Flower Fairy Archer token is, but it also gains a crit, which means you can effectively start to crit pressure your opponent on the first grade 3 turn. And if you can then right back into another Dream Spinning Ranunculus Asha, then you're not dependent on this grade 2 for another wave of double, triple crits. But as I stated, this can work in any other Neo Nectar deck, as it doesn't require Asha to make it work. This is great for Ines as a low budget place, because Ines can become a beast of a card with high numbers, and then with the free crits on top of that, it's pretty insane. But it can also work with Sephiroth for the Arboros deck, as not only can Arboros Dragon generate infinite tokens, which then this card can turn it into advantage value, but it can also generate a lot of powerful grade 3 units with the double R grade 3 Fruit Dragon, and of course Sephiroth himself that gains a lot of power while generating a full board. So this card is perfect for the Neo Nectar archetype with the plant tokens and everything that it does. So as you've seen, these new promos are insane, and I hope that we're gonna get them in the English format as well, because so far we don't know if we're gonna get them. These are, I believe, in a special promo pack, just like the reprint promos with Ear Cup and the other two promos that will be given out with the reprint of the new trial deck and the extra printing session of the next stage extra booster set. But we don't have that in the English format, so I'm not sure if we are going to get these some other way, or if they're going to incorporate it once they're going to do a second printing run of the next stage extra booster set, as well as the trial deck in the English side, if it sells well. So if this doesn't give a good enough incentive for us to start buying those things like crazy, then I don't know what is. But that's basically everything that I wanted to talk about. Let me know in the comments down below what you guys think of the new Roselia band for Bang Dream, as well as these new promos for Team Try Free. Honestly, this gear promo is something that I hope for, but it is so much better than I ever could dream of. I just wanted a card that recalls itself instant once it gets discarded. On top of that, they made it into a quickie worker that's better, cheaper, and has the same traits as Chrono Tufty Guard. And it gained extra power. I mean, is Christmas coming early this year, Bushiroad? I don't know, but I'm really looking forward to if we're going to get this second Gear Chronicle wave. If my prediction of that they're ending with another Team Tri-Free set, then this is looking really promising if this the level of power cards that Gear Chronicle might gain. Same as goes for Neo Nectar and Alma, because these cards are nuts. But let me know in the comments down below your opinion about these cards, because there's a lot of interesting things you can do with these new reveals that we've got today. As always, this video has been brought to you by lovely patrons over patreon.com/VanguardInsider. You guys are amazing. If you do want to support the channel or everything that's happening on the channel, you can simply do that by subscribing and hitting the bell button to be updated for future videos. And of course, liking the video and sharing it with all your card fighting friends. But if you want to help us a little bit more directly, you can head over to patreon.com/VanguardInsider and become a patron today. But with that said, I'm Mr. Time Leap, and I'll see you guys in the next one.